Just start talking. Start. Hey, everybody.
Good morning. I want to welcome you to our presentation today. Before we get started, no, thank you. Can you all hear me? Yes. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. I just want to thank you all for coming. 7:30 is a little early in the morning, but I appreciate that we have such a great turnout. There are a couple thank yous in order. First of all, the council and Mayor Finley. This is something we've been talking about doing for quite a while, but for them to lend their support to actually bring someone in and look at our downtown and give us some ideas about where we go from where we're at right now is amazing. I appreciate that, and I'm sure that everybody else in this room does too. To the Citizens and Business Organization, they're actually going to, many of you have seen their presentations where they showed the destination development films. They're the ones who actually gave us that push to bring Roger here today, and they're really working hard. If you're not a member of that organization, please check them out. They meet on the first Wednesday of the month. Still at the library here.
Yes.
And then to IBCC, for providing this wonderful room and a great tech guy back there who's taking care of all those things that we didn't have a clue about how to do, and that's why we're here. And to Roger and his team. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about Local Speak. I'm really excited about your presentation. I'm sure the other people will be too.
Great. All right, thank you. So how is everyone? Doing good? Sorry it's so early. This will wake you up. So we've had some fun. I am here with my wife, Jane. Go ahead and stand up, Jane, back there. She's the real secret shopper. If you didn't know this, women account for 80% of all consumer spending. I'm waiting.
Only?
You sure this guy in the audience that pipes up and says,
Only?
that's all? So, but it's really important because women also make 70% of the decisions where we stay, where we live, where we work. There's also guys saying, tell me something I didn't know, but it's really true. And so she sees things a little different than I do when we come and do assessments. So I'm going to dig right in. We have been here since Monday and also checked out the area. And I see just something I have to fix right away. Just a second here. Yeah, that's like that. So here we go. Here's the setup. So first of all, what we've been doing is secret shopping you. So before we arrived, I just met the mayor for the first time this morning. I met Becky for the first time this morning. We got no information. We came just like any other person would come as a visitor. There was no interviews, no heads up. We didn't say, send us a bunch of materials. They just said, you come and shop us. You come and visit Oglesby like anybody else would anywhere else. And so there was no input on any of this. So I want to let you know that. Because we want to take you look just like anybody else would without some preconceived notions or things you want us to mention or anything like that. And so when we do this, we wear 3 different hats. Is this a place I want to live, raise a family, or retire even? Is this a place I'd want to work in, or invest in, or bring a business? And then, do we look at this, if I was coming to Starved Rock or any of these areas, would I want to stay in Oglesby and spend some time and money in the town? And by the way, we've been doing this for about 35 years. We've assessed Secret Shop nearly 2,000 communities around the world. We've done this in 45 states, across Canada, Western Europe, Scandinavia, even down in Africa. And then in Illinois, we worked in Mount Vernon, Tinley Park, Rochelle. Whoa, that went by quick. I was trying to gloss right over Illinois. But it was really great. And one thing that was really fun is when we started working in Ottawa, which was like 13 years ago, downtown Ottawa was like an airport runway. There was no trees, no beautification, and they brought in these big bright lights and everything, and we went and looked at it. This was my first time back in a long time, and I went, yes! It's one of the more beautiful downtowns in the state of Illinois now. So it's fun. So it's been really great here. We actually assessed Starved Rock State Park when we did Ottawa, so it's fun to come back all these years later and take another look at it. As a matter of fact, when we worked in Ottawa, this is what it looked like. I mean, you can see the mural up there at the top. I mean, this was downtown, and then the other day, I mean, now look at it. Wow. And it made a huge difference. So, when we do these assessments, first thing we do is we have some of our crew looking at marketing. So they're online. Could they find information about you? Did you show up? And was the information we found good enough to close the sale? How do you stack it with the competition? I mean, you've got Utica or North Utica. I think they call it Utica on the map, says it's North Utica. You know, LaSalle, all the other communities around you. Was it easy to get information? But what we're going to really concentrate today, I'm going to talk a little bit about marketing, but I really want to concentrate on your product. And that was us being here. Signage, gateways, wayfinding, could we find stuff? Overall appeal, what were our first impressions? Critical mass, we'll touch on that. That's like businesses grouped together. It's not a religious service. And so amenities, parking, restrooms, those kinds of things. Were there things to see and do? What was your customer service like? And so I gotta say that we started by flying into O'Hare. We go to Enterprise Rent-A-Car counter and to get a car and to pick a car. And I said, they said, ask me where it's going. I said, we're heading down to Oglesby. And the first person said, okay. Kind of like, and the second person said, where's that? They had no clue. You say Starved Rock, they go, oh, of course. So what happens is they know LaSalle, they even know Utica, and they know, Ottawa, but they don't know Oglesby. And so I said, okay, so at least they don't have a negative, they have no perception. So that's where it starts, and our first thing was, when we started looking at the map, and we started, there's Oglesby there, and I just thought, my gosh, you should own, all of these things. You should be the city of the parks. And I don't know, it just seems like you're really not. And I just thought, look at where you're located. You should own this. And by the way, through this presentation, see that little one there? There are suggestions. There are no recommendations in this. Because it would be presumptuous to come in and tell you what you should do as a town, as a city, without ever talking to you first. So all we can do is provide suggestions, and you may say, let's do that one, or let's do this one. And by the way, you may even see things here that you're already working on, and you may say, Roger, we're already working on that. Well, great, you've just been validated. Remember, we didn't get any preconceived notions, nothing in advance. But I just kept thinking, with Starved Rock, and what's fascinating, it's the most visited park in Illinois, and has been for a long time. Last year had 2.8 million visitors, which is surpassing all but 10 of the national parks. It's right next door. And then May through September, you've had 300,000 visitors a month. I don't see many of them in downtown Oglesby. I don't think you've been in the tourism game. I think you need to be. And then, look at this. July 2017, you broke the all-time record, 400,000 visitors a month. Most national parks, that's what they see in a year. If you think about this, October last year was the slowest month in 5 years. You only had 250,000 people that month. Even if you go to Matheson, it is pronounced Matheson, right? Okay? You broke 6 monthly attendance records last year. They don't even have the numbers, of course, that we're in the middle of this year. 500,000 annual visits, which was a 12% increase last year. I just go, you gotta own this. You should be the hub for these parks. And I would say everywhere across America, almost every city, there's 19,500 cities and towns in the United States. Almost every single one was founded on either a natural resource. Oh, we're close to rivers, for for paper factories, or we're close to natural resources for cement plants, or we're built on mining, or it's transportation, we're close to rail lines. And what happens is, as we start losing our major industries, people say, what's our second act? You know what? The fastest, easiest way to revitalize downtown Oglesby is to concentrate on tourism. The people are already 3 miles away. You just have to give them a reason to come into Oglesby. And so we just thought it just made sense with what you've got around you that you could own all of these, since you are the closest to it. And Buffalo State, Buffalo Rock is on the other side of the river, but it's still easy to get to from you. We just thought it just absolutely made sense. So, with that as kind of a start, the first thing we did is we just thought if you were home to Starved Rock State Park, or your base camp to the 3 state parks, or the city of the parks, something like that, and own it, and then I've got an idea, a way to bring people from these parks into your downtown. And you know what? One of the challenges I have is where Friends and Rivers meet could pretty much fit any community in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, even Iowa. It doesn't set you apart, okay? And you always want to say, what sets us apart? So I'm not criticizing it, but it just doesn't, yeah, so I think that Friends and Rivers can also meet in LaSalle. They can also meet in Peru. See what I mean? And so that's the challenge. Now, I want to talk about tourism just for a minute, because and by the way, I'm the first person to say tourism should not be your only form of economic development. But you know what? It doesn't take much to get them to drive, 3 miles to you. And so I want to do some fast facts for you. First of all, it is the front door to your non-tourism economic development. So that means that anybody coming in, whether it is a site selector, a venture capital firm, a commercial real estate broker, all these people, they're coming in first as what? A visitor. Is this a place their clients would want to live, that they would want to invest in? That's how they come. And nothing showcases quality of life better than tourism. Nothing. And then, you know what? For the first time in U.S. history, quality of life is leading economic development. That means jobs are going where the talent is, or where the talent wants to be. So when you can get your millennials, the people in their 20s, early 30s, to say, I want to move to Oglesby, guess what? The jobs are going to come here. This is the first time in U.S. history. This all started happening over the last 3 to 5 years, where they say, wow, you've got a campus like this, you've got youth here and they want to be here. If that's the case, we're going to move the job there. We were just in Rochelle, Wisconsin a couple weeks ago. Right next to Rochelle is Mount Pleasant. They just landed a $10 billion Foxconn plant. Foxconn makes flat panel TVs, iPads, iPhones, you name it. 13,000 employees. Mount Pleasant's like 2,500 people. They're hoping they will get people to drive down from Milwaukee or north from Chicago, and we're saying, no, you got to make the quality of life here so that they will want to live here and work here. We were just in Gahanna, Ohio, next to Columbus. That is a rural bedroom community to Columbus that is on the final list for Amazon's second world headquarters. It's not just going to big cities. So you have that opportunity. So that is everything. For the first time in history, instead of people move where the jobs are, jobs and move where their talent is or where it wants to be. And so this is pretty cool that community development is now leading economic development. And that is the age of placemaking. So that means your downtown has to be core. Here's the next one, is tourism the purest form of economic development, because you know what? People come, they spend money, and then they go home. We like that, right? And it's the quickest way to offset the leakage. Every single person we talked to in Oglesby, when we said, where do you do your shopping, said Peru. I mean, you can't really blame them. You got Home Depot and Target, Walmart and Hy-Vee and everybody else there. But you know what? If you leak out more money than you bring in as a community, you die. Just like a business. If you leak out more than you bring in, you don't last very long. Tourism is one way to help offset that, because you know what? You're probably not going to get the Targets and those big stores here when they're so close. So this is a way to help balance that. And so that is really, really critical to this whole thing. And another reason why you should tap into tourism. And it is the fastest growing industry in Illinois and across the country. And then number 5, it's the #1 industry for small businesses, particularly in the rural and suburban areas. And then number 6, tourism does create family wage jobs. Every hotel manager, every housekeeping manager, everybody that opens up a small business is hoping that they can support their family from it. So a lot of people think, oh, tourism is just a bunch of low-end jobs, and that's not true. And then tourism also creates community pride. You know, there's some people we talk to in Oglesby that aren't real proud of their downtown. I mean, they see the potential there, but right now it's half vacant. And so this can help change that. And then it reduces the tax burden. Wouldn't it be great if your downtown was worth more money so that the assessed values of those buildings, somebody said that one of these buildings downtown, a gray building, was purchased for like $12,000. How about jaw dropped? Wouldn't it be great if the value of those buildings went up to take the burden off the residential community? And then here's the #1 activity visitors in the world, right there. This photo, Galena. That's a town of 3,100 people. You've been there? I mean, it's not just people from Dubuque. You know, they're coming from Chicago, everywhere. But we may come to Starved Rock or Matheson or Buffalo Rock, but you know what the deal is? We spend 4 to 6 hours doing that, and then we spend 8 to 10 hours looking for other stuff to do, and that's #1. So we got to figure out a way to get that, because that is where 80% of the non-lodging tourism spending takes place. That's why Galena does so well. I mean, as a matter of fact, that's why there's a downtown Disney outside each of its parks, to get that 80%. And then, downtown is a litmus test for site selectors and investors. It may not be fair, but you know what they do? They drive right into the heart of your downtown, and they look around, and they figure that the health of the community economically is found in the health of the downtown economically. And right now, that's not real pretty in Oglesby. And then #11, if you don't hang out in your downtown, neither will visitors. We found a few people, you know, hanging out downtown, but not a whole lot, because visitors go where you go. And then #12, downtowns are the heart of community development. And finally, #12, tourism plays an important role in your long-term, should play an important role. So, there's your 12 fast facts about tourism. So enough of that. So we've been here since Monday, and we started checking the areas around you. So we don't just start in downtown, we want to see what's around you. Why would we want to live here? Why would we want to work here? Why would we want to invest? And so you see lots of little suggestions. We love this. And this one doesn't even need a suggestion on it. We went and we saw Deer Park. We thought it was really a nice golf course. It had great signage that said they're open to the public. They've got a pro shop. And so first of all, one nice thing about golf courses, even though it's one of the faster declining sports across the country, it adds to quality of life and ambience. And so we did see it. My one big suggestion for them, is there a restaurant here? Does anybody know?
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
Why is there no sign for it?
I believe it's in transition.
Oh, okay.
It's recently been taken over and
Okay.
It was a private golf course.
Oh, it was private, now is it public now?
Yes.
Okay, does,
The only other one in LaSalle,
oh, okay.
Santa Cruz.
We did go around back and we saw, aha. But we don't know whether the restaurant's open now or if it's gonna open or whatever, so that's something that, if it's in transition, great. Remember, we just coming in as first-time visitor. What they should do is put a sign, if I go back to that, that says, opening soon. See what I mean?
they did put the sign up open to the public, that's brand new. that you had in your
In
presentation.
this,
Yeah, they just did that.
They have lunch.
I think later on in the signages. it-
so if you pull over on the side of the road and wait for it to scroll through, you'll eventually see it.
They're working at it.
They're working on it, okay. So I don't need to be giving you a bad time about it. But I would also just put one near the door. Since we're there, we pulled in, checked it out. And if we knew that it's coming up, then it's it's an invitation to invite us back. So, and it does look, I mean, it's stunning. We just thought, wow, this is really, really beautiful. Nice course. And so, one thing, I'm going to take a little side trip right now, because I want you to create a brochure that's going to be the very best of Oglesby and the Starved Rock area. See what I'm doing? Is I'm getting you to take ownership of Starved Rock. And so I thought, and by the way, when we came into town, it took us a couple days to find it, but we did find the brochure that you have for Oglesby, and this was excellent. So you promoted your restaurants, but I want you to promote more than your restaurants. So we're going to take this, I want you to take this very same brochure and add to it. But we got Hungry Yet, we thought this was great. The Root Beer Stand, we ate there. Delaney's, we ate there. Oriole Kitchen, we ate there. Mr. Salsa's, we ate there. MJ's, we ate there. I don't know where Sam's Pizza is. Where is it?
That's the name, right next to her start.
South of Heartland Bank.
Okay, we never found it. So that's, first of all, we only had a number of days here, so we probably couldn't have eaten at all of it anyway, but that's when this can have really good reviews. But anyway, this is really nice, and it's very helpful to guests. It's very helpful to have some kind of a guide. And so, but I want you to grow that. This is the one that was done in Alpena, Michigan, a town of 10,000. And you have to promote your anchor tenants. And as we go through this, I'm going to help you do that. So that you don't get politics in the way of somebody saying you promote them and you didn't promote me. And so we're going to get through that. In Alpena, they created this brochure, and they didn't want to go to the politics, so they actually used me and a quote from me to take the pressure off, and that's fine. But what you need to promote more than your restaurants are the experience. In their case, they're on the what they call the sunrise shore of Michigan, and the other side is Sunset Shore. But anyway, they have 200 shipwrecks out there. These are all little local shops, retailers, restaurants, and these kinds of things. And each one of them, by the way, paid $400 to be in this. So they were invited to be in this, and I'm even going to give you the criteria they used. But the Besser Museum was really struggling. It's a great museum. They couldn't afford the $400, but there was enough from everybody else to cover them, and they paid like $200. But by promoting your best ofs, it's one of the most amazing things that you can do is promote these. Now, here's what they did with this. In Alpena, by the way, the very first Best of brochure we ever recommended somebody do was in Ottawa. Bridget was running the Chamber of Commerce there, and she was so ostracized that they basically forced her out, and I felt terrible for it. Because the number one question of visitors in the world is, where's a good place to eat? Please don't just hand me a list.